Hey, what's up, Dividend Nomads? Today, I'm going to be comparing my high yield dividend portfolio to the overall market, and I'm going to show y'all how that looks like, what the difference is, so you can see what it's like really investing in these high yield income ETFs and stocks. Uh, First, I'll take you into the phone, share with you what I have, then I'll share with you guys the performance, and then I'll take you into the spreadsheet and share with you guys what everything really looks like under the hood, as well as how much money this portfolio is actually paying me right now and my future plans. So now that you know that, let's get into it. I'll record the screen on my phone here and show you the actual portfolio first. So let's do that. 3, 2, 1, bam. All right, let's open up Charles Schwab. This one's in Charles Schwab. I'll refresh it for you guys. This is 8:30 in the morning here in China, so the market is closed. You can see yesterday the Dow was 0.9%, NASDAQ 0.6%, and the S&P up a quarter of a percent. My portfolio was up 1.7%, so we outperformed yesterday. So that's pretty good. $76,527 is the value. 11,326 of that is cash. So let's go view all the positions really quick. XDTE, 855 shares. This makes up probably the bulk of my portfolio. I'll share with you guys the allocation percentage when we get to the spreadsheet. WPay, 400 shares now. YBTC, 106. And HOOW, 18 shares only. And then down here at the cash, I have SWVXX, which is a money market fund. It's $1 all the time, 4% annual yield, but it pays every single month. So I've got that one. Then I've got $6,200 in actual cash. So that's what we have actually in the portfolio. But let's dive into the performance first, and then I'll take you guys into the behind the scenes of it and that you guys see, everything in totality. So let me take you into the computer. It's just easier to do on the computer. So let me get this thing sorted. 3, 2, 1, bam. Okay, bam. All right, now we're here. So here we go. This is the rate of return from October the 1st to October the 30th. So this didn't include yesterday in this. So yesterday was a good day. Probably would have helped if it included yesterday, but it's okay. You can see my portfolio had a 1.58% return for the month of October. Now, let's see what this looks like. This blue line charted here is my portfolio. If we look at the Dow Jones in my portfolio, the Dow slightly beat us there. You can see there the Dow was 2.5% and we were 1.58. So they actually beat us by a whole percentage point. And let's check out the NASDAQ. Now here's the NASDAQ. You can see my portfolio in the blue. It follows the NASDAQ. See the chart? It's like doing the exact same thing the NASDAQ was doing, but slightly underperforming. And now why that is, because I had a heavy position in QDTE, which is basically the NASDAQ, but it's capped to the upside because it's a cover call ETF. So it basically follows the NASDAQ and does what the NASDAQ does. It just don't do it quite as well. So when the NASDAQ goes down, it goes down. When the NASDAQ goes up, that fund also goes up, but it doesn't go up as much because of the capped upside. So that's why we're trailing. So you can see that looks like, let me just go down here. It's easier to see. 1.5 for me and 4% for the NASDAQ. So it really underperforms. And actually, that's why I actually cut QDT from the portfolio, which I'll share with you guys here in a moment. The next one we have is the S&P. So this is basically the benchmark for all ETFs, is falling in line with the S&P 500. And the majority of my portfolio is in the S&P 500 via XDTE, which is basically the S&P 500 zero DTE cover call ETF. And again, you can see we are doing exactly the same thing that the S&P did. And then it's even here on the downside, but then we go to the upside, you can see the S&P started to separate and get a gap because it's not capped and my portfolio is capped. So we couldn't go up as much as the S&P 500 went up. So we did underperform 1.58% compared to 2%. But we're getting income by underperforming. So that's the difference. This isn't including the income. It's just the stock movement, not the income. So here we go. The Russell, we did slightly better than the Russell. Like here, you can see the Russell took off. And then when it came back down, all this stuff happened. Recently, you see there's a sharp decline in the Russell, and we had a sharp decline too, but we still outperformed. You can see the charts are very different. You can see the actual movement in some instances is very, like here you have one big spike. Here we had two little spikes. And then here we had like a little flat period. There was, a lesser time frame. And then again, here you have the sharp decline. Ours wasn't nearly as bad. We were actually going up here when the Russell was going down for a bit. So performances are very different. But we did beat the Russell by a tad bit. So not too bad there. Yeah. So anyway, let me take you into I created like a little investing journal thing I want to show you guys really quick, just so you can see the notes that I made on these things. So really quickly, I'll open that up. So here you go. This is my, I like to call it my Schwab Freedom account. Target $2,000 a month, and I want to get $100,000 total value in here. This is my first target for the portfolio. So let's see how far along we are for reaching this target. So I just updated this just now. So today is the 31st of November. The value, $76,402. Monthly contribution was $1,000. Actually, today's the 1st, so this was updated this last night. Anyway, monthly contribution $1,000. So I did deposit $1,000 into this portfolio. Here's my positions: 400 shares WPay, XDTE, YBTC, HOW. There's my cash positions that I just showed you. Here's all the dividends I received: WPay, YBTC, XDT. Let's have the dates here of which I received those dividends. And then at the bottom, I make a little note, like the total amount received. And what I did, see, I cut QDTE from the portfolio due to the cap upside and overlap, because QDTE and XDTE, they have a whole lot of overlap, right? Like 80% of the NASDAQ stocks are actually in the ETF. So whatever's in XDTE, right? Like it has 80% of QDT inside of it already. So I don't need two of kind of the same thing. So I went ahead and cut that and put that money to work in WPay, where you can see here I added 100 shares of WPay. That's what I did with some of the money that I took from QDTE. So now that you know that, let's look at the spreadsheet where we track all the performances. So I'll just show you guys really quick. You can see here the share counts and all that is all the same that I showed you. The performance wise, this is what we want to see: the performances and the allocations, because this is probably the most important part. Get it all on the screen. So here we go. WPay up 1.3% on the market, 4.3 total. HOW 8.5 on market, 11.7 total. XDT is still slightly down. It was doing good, and then we had the big fall off on Thursday. Yeah, that hurt. Anyway, total return 8.8%. So it's doing okay. YBTC also been getting hit hard lately, but we are 25.7% on total return. And then the portfolio allocation, WPay 28%. We have only 1.7 in HOOW, 49% in XDTE, and 5% in YBTC. And lastly, for the dividend update, let me see. Let me get everything on the screen here. So here we go. This is what we received for October. WPay $6.58, HOOW $40, XDTE $8.91, YBTC $1.93, and then if you scroll all the way up here, these are sold positions. $2.69. This was from QDTE, but I sold that position, so I just put the money over here. Anyway, total $2,054 for the month. Which means I can't even talk. Which means I reached my goal of $2,000 for this month, and I believe next month hopefully will be better. I'm going to try to increase some of my positions, and I do plan on adding another. I don't know how much I'm going to add to the portfolio yet, but I will add some more money to the portfolio. But I'm not sure yet how much. We'll see. But so far, well, not so far, for the whole month of October, $2,000 is what we received. And then lastly, I'll share this with you guys. I shared this with you guys before. These are the sold positions that I've sold this year in the portfolio. As you can see, starting here on January, March, May, June, and in October, we have sold positions. So all these are yield max positions here at the top, and then have a Neos and a round hill one in October. But the rest of these are all are yield max positions. So you can see all the yield max positions are red. Look at the returns on these. They're horrible. And the white ones, this is Neos, this is round hill, 5%, 2%. And all these negative percentages are yield max. So yeah, yield max is trash. Don't put your money over there. Even though I did have positive total returns, but I tracked it. You can see 3%, 2%, 1%, negative, 0.5%. This was the only one because I got smart by looking at all these numbers and seeing how these total returns just like these were up big time too, and they started dwindling away. And I knew that was going to happen with this one too, which is Misty. And I was like, no, I'm just take my money and get out of here before this dwindles away to nothing too. So this is the only one I smartened up on. Sometimes you got to make mistakes to learn that you're doing something wrong. That's why I track it so I can actually see what I'm doing wrong. So yeah, that's the portfolio. Let me know what you guys think below. Love to hear your thoughts. And come join our Discord. Call me Discord below. I'll send you a link. You can come join us in Discord. It's free. Check out all the other stuff down there. And see you guys next time, man. I got to go to the gym. Y'all take care.